All right, Kiss Army, welcome to the KissFAQ Podcast. Thank you for giving us your time today and letting us into your head. I hope we don't do any damage. This is a Kiss-related podcast by the board, for the board. We hope that you enjoy. Welcome to episode 281 or 282 or something like that of the KissFAQ Podcast. I'm your host, Julian Gill, sick as a dog, and I'm joined by Andy Moyen and Jeff. I'm forgetting your last name. Hopkins, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Were you on the Kiss cruise? You're sick? You got a Kiss
No,
cruise?
I was not on the Kiss cruise, but I still got the crud. So I'm going to have to postpone my tour of Australia. I'm sure people are going to be really disappointed to hear that. No.
Now that's a fan if you can get the Kiss crud and not go on the cruise.
In fact, I got sick so bad last year on the cruise, it came back this year after the cruise, even though I didn't go on it. Oh, man. Whatever it is brutal. Hit me like a ton of bricks last night. But whatever, this show is not about me. The show is actually about you guys. And I did want to get together with you both and talk about your Peter Criss Experience and the whole event and everything that happened in Miami and anything else that you guys happen to have on your minds. Maybe I should rephrase that, but I guess I should apologize to everyone as well for the very poor video quality of our last episode. Thank you to everyone who managed to watch it. It was a nightmare. Canadian Wi-Fi strikes again, which is a real shame because it was really a fun topic. All right, Andy, why don't you get us started, and tell us about the timelines and who arrived in Miami and
His fault.
And how everything went.
Well, actually, it's Jeff's fault.
Sure, he's still pulling that number.
Nah, I know. Just kidding.
It was both our fault.
Yeah. Now, it's an inside personal joke, teasing each other. I don't know. Where do we start, Jeff?
Well, I guess at the beginning, one of the things that we really wanted to do once we got the Living in Sin thing going, and we started getting emails from people that wanted to come up, Maria Catessa, Lydia, some of the other people.
You name it, man. Anybody who's been basically almost anybody who's been down to Florida now at any of these parties, no matter whose parties they've been at, man, they've come through. They've come through us or through me, really, first.
Yeah.
Next.
Well, so we would send out emails looking for donations, and for our charity at that time was Breast Cancer Research Foundation, and we never got a response back from Peter. And then in 2013, 2014, Denise and myself went and did a meet and greet with Peter and gave him our little form letter that we emailed out to everybody, and Gigi looked it over, and we talked, and she said, "Oh, okay, I get it." And they started donating merchandise and whatnot, and told them if they ever wanted to come down for a meet and greet, we'll go ahead and host it and get everything set up. And it just wasn't in their cards. And then this year, I quit going on the cruise after 5, but I kept going down for the parties and kind of behind the scenes with Andy and whatnot.
Yeah, believe it or not, even though Jeff wasn't on the cruise those last couple of years, he was my back man to help me out through some certain situations here and there and stuff like that, and always a good friend of mine. And ever since 2011 when we met on the cruise, Jeff and I become really close friends. Jeff was my best man at my recent wedding. And stuff like that. So,
6.5 hour flight.
Yeah. And, we have a great bond and things, just this, it's like I've known Jeff my whole life and I haven't. I've known Jeff now for, 9 years?
Yeah.
It's nine cruises, 9 years.
9 years.
Yeah. So, but I felt like I've known Jeff for my whole life. It's just kind of weird. But hey, it's all good. Bromance, dude, right? That song, Bromance. So, in a way. So, as Jeff said, that we always have been doing stuff for breast cancer research, and Peter and Gigi would donate stuff for us, right? They would donate goodies, send them, and we do these raffles for at the Living in Sin parties and stuff like that, and people win them. And and we've always been kind of in touch with Gigi, anyways. And then after last year's party, I basically said that I retired. I'm like, I'm done. Enough's enough. Things were getting way out of hand, and there were things I just wasn't too crazy about. I'm just going to leave it at that. Take the higher road. So I decided I would retire and went up in front of everybody. So retired, have fun. Maybe I'll do a Living in Sin anyways, just for the hell of it, because we're going to go on the cruise. And I got home. I was really sick last year from the cruise. First time I ever got the cruise crud. And I'll tell you, that stuff is brutal. So anyways, I have been talking to Gigi here and there anyways. And she asked me how the Vinny event went and how everything go. And I told her how things went and everything else. And I basically had told her I retired. And she says, well, Andy, we got some news for you. And I said, somebody wants to talk to you. And I says, okay. And next, on the phone, there's Peter on the phone talking to me. And I'm like, whoa, hi, Peter. And I put it on speaker, and Kim's like crying now, She's sitting here listening. She's, oh my God. I'm like, yeah. And then Peter says, hey, Andy, how you doing? He's, yeah, I'm doing fine. He goes, we decided we want to go down to Miami next year. And I was like, what? So I said and then he started talking to me, and he was all happy.
At that time, you'd already decided you weren't going to go on the cruise.
Yeah.
So you'd already canceled it. You'd already sold your seats.
Yeah. And then I told Gigi, I said, Gigi, you got to give me 5 minutes. And she goes, well, what's the matter, Andy? I says, well, I can't say yes and I can't say no, because there's only one person I got to do this with. I have to get Jeff back. I'm going to beg and plead. You got to do what I got to do to do this with me, because, like I said, Jeff and I's bond is just super tight. Everything's gone well. We talk all the time. We always agree or disagree, or if we come to an agreement and stuff. So I asked Gigi, give me 5 minutes. I hung up the phone. I called up Jeff. I said, Jeff, guess what? He goes, no. Right away, because he knew something was up. And I says, well, I got news for you. Peter wants to come down to Miami to do meet greets next year. And he goes, no, you're joking with me. You're just playing with me. I says, no, I'm not kidding. I just got off the phone with them. And he says, I'm in. I said, okay. I called her back. I said, Gigi, we're in. What do we got to do? So, and then all things went from there, right, Jeff?
Yes, it did.
Yeah, and we don't need to get into the details of, how you guys put that together with Peter. I mean, I'm just boggled. How the hell does a fan react when you're on a phone call and suddenly Peter Criss, original founding member of the band, comes on and says, hey? I mean, that's just outrageously wild and, very cool for you to have experienced. I mean, that's vastly different than a meet and greet when you wait in line and go up and meet the cat. So that's just outrageously cool. So you managed to put together, after saying that you're out and you're retired, this kind of fell into your lap, and neither of you are going on the cruise.
Oh.
And you've got Peter Criss, marquee guest. I mean, you don't get any bigger than that for an event, especially since he doesn't do a tremendous amount of these things. I mean, you're really lucky that he chose you. But let's jump straight into this year, and the event itself. And when did you get into Miami? I mean, Jeff, you went, I take it, because I know you're up in Boston. What was it, 10 days prior for to be best man? So you've been hopping around the country.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks prior to that. I was in Boston, which was opening weekend of deer season. Which, I've discussed that with Andy. And then the Peter Criss deal was opening weekend of elk, but that's a whole different story. But yeah, we actually had an 8 p.m. flight to fly into Miami on that Friday. Flight was delayed 4.5 hours. So we ended up getting into Miami Saturday morning around, I think we finally got to the hotel about 9. And then got a rental van or a rental car and whatnot, and hung out. Room wasn't ready. So we just hung out with some friends and whatnot, and then had to be back at the airport at 3:00 to pick up Peter and Gigi. And everything worked out with that. Picked them up, took them to their hotel, got them settled in with that, and then picked Gigi back up. And Mark and Bill and Ray came. Just did kind of a little walkthrough, showed the goodie bags and whatnot, what we had going on for the event, and made sure everything was cool. And then Sunday we waited for Andy to get there, and he showed up late. Bastard. But yeah, everything was set up. We got everything set up inside the room the way that Peter wanted it, and everybody was on board, and everything started off like clockwork.
I had originally had plans. Now this is before the whole Peter thing even happened. Is that I got married, but we had already had plans to fly to Tampa Bay first. So we flew into Tampa Bay on the 25th to stay with a couple of friends, and we went to like Hollow Scream, which is a Halloween thing down there in Busch Gardens, and then we had Busch Garden tickets for Saturday. Then Kim and I got the rental car, and we drove from Tampa Bay to Miami to get there for Sunday, and we were running a little bit late, so that's how come that's
2.5 hours, but who's counting?
Yeah. Yeah, see, this kind of friendship we have. We can, just tease each other, and it's all good. So,
so Andy was really late, but otherwise you'd gotten everything going smoothly, Jeff.
Yeah.
For the most part, yeah.
See, yeah. I said you do this, and that, and then by the time I get there, everything should be okay. They listen.
Everything was. The only thing Andy had to do was get the goodie bags out and lay them out by number with the laminates.
No, I'm curious about how did you work the setup there? I mean, obviously I was there last year for the Vinnie Vincent signing, so I've got a good kind of mental picture of hallway, like room that Vinnie had used for his signing with, the backdrop because you guys did photos as well as signing, correct?
Yeah.
How did that work for Peter in terms of the layout? Was it similar to last year, or did you make any changes to all that?
The only change that was made is that they want to do signatures first. So here's the thing about Peter, man. I'll tell you, man, off the hook. Okay, so if anybody's looking for any kind of drama or anything like that, it ain't happening. Man, he was so off the hook, right, Jeff? Man, I mean, he couldn't have. Oh my God!
Fantastic.
Freaking fantastic, telling jokes, having a good time, just talking about great things, wonderful things, how he's in a good, such a great mood, how his life's going, he's in a great place, telling all these little teeny stories that were funny, and it was surreal. Like you said, it's just two fans.
Well,
not promoters, right, Jeff?
Yeah, we're not promoters by any means. We're just fans. So don't call us that P word. It's not nice.
Yeah.
But actually the totally cool part that we didn't really anticipate was, since I had the van, or it wasn't a van, it was a Tahoe.
Yeah.
I had to pick Peter up and bring him to the Holiday Inn. I had to take him back to his hotel. We didn't anticipate the one-on-one time that we got to spend with Peter. I mean, it was fabulous. I mean, we talked about all kinds of stuff. We talked about the old days. We talked about the Rock Hall. We talked about personal life stuff. I mean, it was kicked back. It was casual. It was funny. Some of the jokes he was telling was just off the hook, we'll say.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was an experience that I'll never forget. It was a once in a lifetime opportunity, and it'll be something I'll never forget.
I know it's just unbelievable. But to Jillian's thing, is that they want to do signatures first. So on Sunday it started at basically we call it pre-registration. You could start coming, collecting your goodies, get your laminate, your goodie bags, your pre-signed poster, your there's a water bottle. I'll show everything. I got everything over here on the counter.
Yeah, I'm dying to see this goodie bag.
Yeah, and it was for fun. It's nothing super serious. It was all just for fun, extra little goodies. It was just, it probably kind of brought you back kind of like almost like a 70s kind of vibe because of the couple of things. So anyways, here are the two laminates we had. We had a green one and a gray one. So one sorry. So the green one was for Sunday. We used the green ones for Sunday and the gray one for Monday. So that's what they look like. And they're really thick and heavy. And then here's the gray one. Oh, where'd the camera go? Oh, there we go. So,
wait, how did you end up with number 1 when Jeff was doing the driving around and picking up and not being 2.5 hours late?
His hair's longer.
No, I have an answer for that, really, because the goodie bags and the stuff end up coming to my house because I'm closer to Florida. So it's a lot easier to stay everything on the East Coast and go all the way to the West Coast. And when I got the laminates, what did I ask Jeff the first thing? What numbers do you want?
He asked me
so
what
he
numbers.
picked out the numbers first.
Yeah.
So
Which number did you want? Number 3?
Actually, Kim got number 3.
Kim wanted number 3.
I don't even remember what my number is.
That's when it comes to Peter Criss, that's the only number that counts. Number 3.
Right.
Yeah, sure. So anyways, those are the things, and then the people who helped out, which, unbelievable. Plus an extra person who came down. One of my friends' name is Lisa. Lisa helped out, but so that part we'll get into everybody and everything else. So anyways, in the goodie bag was just some fun stuff. So we kind of took it back to the old time. We had a pencil, a little pencil. The old Kiss days, you had a pencil. So we had a Peter Criss pencil.
Excellent.
Kind of fun. And then let me see, we had a Peter Criss little pen, green and white, little pen. Trying to get in the camera stuff here, but just to show everybody if you can. There you go, little pen.
Cool.
Yep. And then we had 2 magnets. We had the Criss Army one in gray, square one.
Yep.
And then we had one that had the whole thing, the Peter Criss Experience, with the date, fire around it, pretty cool.
Yep.
And then we had a bracelet. Peter Criss, the Catman, the one and only Catman. You bet. And then we had made a pin. It says the Catman with the, I never say that word, talisman. Oh, I might have just said it right for the first time.
There you go.
So pretty cool.
Even got the right dates on it.
I got the right dates on it. and then a keychain. But on the back of the keychain, there's the thing for breast cancer for men and women, so they wanted to make it known. And I'm telling you, Peter saw every single piece of the stuff. Peter loved it. So Peter basically okayed everything, which was awesome. It was so cool to have him knowing that he had his hands like in the pot, in with this stuff, and saying, "Man, I like that idea. This is cool. I love this idea." Because there were some more ideas bounced back and forth, but he was all in, right, Jeff? He was.
Oh, absolutely.
All in.
It was a good, it was a group effort.
Oh, huge.
It wasn't. It was very unique because it wasn't like, okay, here's the artist. This is what time you need to show up. This is what we're going to do. We were all involved together. So everybody, we bounced ideas off each other. We talked about what we liked, what we didn't like, and that's what we came up with. And so everybody had input. It was awesome.
Yeah, yep. One of the big challenges with any event, whether you're a guest or kind of a participant, is to not end up being treated like a piece of meat. And especially when you're talking about legendary talent, it's not like you, Peter Criss, go sit there and sign until we come and get you for the next thing. You really have to be respectful of the people that you've got involved, and it sounds like you certainly went out of your way to make sure that Peter Criss was shown the respect that he's due.
Oh yeah. So I just want to finish this off, and then we can. Then there was a water bottle, which is pretty cool. It says Criss Army in gray and stuff. And then here's cool. The pre-signed poster, man. He signed them all free, and they're all mint. I mean, these things came out really good. Every single one. Yeah, pretty cool, huh? And I want to just get this so I don't forget. that there are about 40 extra posters, and actually I'm shipping them back to Peter and Gigi on Friday, and they are going to put them up on their website after they get them back, and they're going to sell them for JR. So all the money raises from these posters, the rest of the posters are going to go for the JR cancer fight, which we did. They donated some Peter Criss items, and then there were other items from Ken Kelly, Big John Hart, Len D'Alessio. I can't say his name ever right. Sorry, Len. And another guy donated an Ace Frehley poster from Australia that had signed, and there were some other goodies there. And then Peter donated a pair of boots, those boots from 1997, the cowboy boots. It has all the members, like the leather. I don't have a picture of them. I wish I did.
No, they're that rare. Try and find a picture of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they're super, super rare. And not only did he donate, so to, all the money raised from all this stuff from the 3 days, because we did this 3 days, so you could buy tickets on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday at the Living in Sin thing, and then me and Kim drew all the stuff at the end, So, but those boots were actually not just the boots you get from like off the store. They were actually fitted to his feet. They were written inside. They were custom made. They had to actually size because your 1 foot's bigger than another. You know what I mean? So they were actually customized to Peter's foot. So which was, off the hook, amazing. I'm like, oh my god.
They actually had the measurements were written on the inside of the boot. You could read what the measurements were for the size, and they were 2 different sizes.
Yep. Pretty awesome. And
but we can't disclose that.
Yeah. Now this is what the Holiday Inn did for us too. Not, and as you know, if you may have been or not been, is that we still have this Kiss music playing on in the bar. DVDs playing on the TV, so they have music on. So actually, they made a special menu for us too. So they made like a green menu, a Catman menu, all about Peter. Man, I'm telling you, it's pretty crazy. And and I always do this every year for fun. Is that I made up a cup. And I let the Holiday Inn, I buy the cups and I just give them to the Holiday Inn, the bar, and they basically sell them, with the drinks in them. And this was this year. This is a Chris Army one. Green with the thing and the Holiday Inn thing on the back. So, yeah. So, the Holiday Inn, I can't say enough about the Holiday Inn all these years and everything else. They just let us take over the hotel, but you never really see that happen, no matter what,
Yeah,
I still haven't forgiven the Holiday Inn for losing my favorite green shirt.
They lost your green shirt?
Yeah, I had it laundered last year at the cruise, and they lost it. So, yes.
Oh.
Not amused.
Oh,
but they're really nice. They're a fantastic hotel. No complaints there.
You better check Andy's luggage. He might have.
No, I didn't take no shirt. But I want to also say that, Julian, I do have I didn't have a chance to send it, but I got a poster being sent to you. All right, so you're gonna get one of these.
Oh, so awesome! Thank you.
Gigi, not me. Gigi wanted to extend her love to you, and she knows we go on this program and talk big, and she knows you're a huge Peter fan. You've always been a huge backer for Peter and stuff. So she asked me to send to make sure you got a poster. So your poster is going to be on its way.
Oh, that's really nice of them. Appreciate it.
Along with some of the other goodies. So I got some of the extra couple of goodies left over. So there you go. Thanks. For all the great years.
That's really kind. But I mean, obviously, this was your final kind of torpedoes away for Miami, isn't it? Because you're done.
Yeah. Me personally, I went on another podcast the other day and said I was going to come back and do a Living in Sin thing, but some personal stuff in my own life now has come up. So I have to retract about that. I'm sorry that basically I'm not going to be in Miami next year. Personally, myself, I'm not going to be in Miami, so I'm not going to do Living in Sin. I'm not setting up the hotel, the rides, anything. I just can't do it. I'm done. I loved everything. I can't. I mean, Jeff needs to jump in here too about all this stuff because,
it wasn't our first rodeo, but it was definitely our last.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, how can we beat Peter Criss? There's no topping it. You know?
Yeah, and why would you even want to try? The amount of logistics that go into organizing even an event that, was smaller than the previous years in terms of kind of what you did. I mean, you weren't doing concerts, at the hangar and all that as well. You focused on the fan side, which was keeping it a small, intimate, gathering, really taking it back to what it was, but with one hell of a marquee guest. I mean, I just don't imagine where you would even want to go. Where are you going to do it again after having Peter Criss, one of the original members of the band, come to your event? And I mean, you did have Jean Beauvoir there as well. You had other folk there. You had all the fans. You had a bunch of really, I saw some of the photos of the helpers. I mean, just the smiles on everyone's face made it look like it was just a relaxed, fun, awesome event.
Yeah, and there were people. We knew Sunday started out a little bit slower, but we knew we were the only thing going on at the time on Sunday. There were nothing else going on around town as a parties or anything. So Sunday it did start out a little bit slower. Besides, you got two different kind of groups getting together. You had me, Jeff, Denise, Kim, Lisa, Bobby, yeah, and so on our side, and then you had the other side, which Gigi and Peter had their groups that they have done stuff in the past with. So when you get together, you get two groups that got together. It didn't really. I mean, I knew Bill, and I knew about Mark, but I didn't have really met Mark until this year. And so, now all of a sudden you get these people together in less than 24 hours, like 3 hours, all of a sudden, hey, you got to, do this. And it all worked out. And the fans couldn't have been happier. And, like you said, Julia, you were there last year, so you knew how the setup was. So basically it was kind of the same setup, except that they want to do signatures first. But the big thing is, Peter, as you know, Peter is all about you. You're the focused person. You're in the room. It's you. So that's how it all worked out. It was just you in the room. And believe me, people are like stunned. So you didn't have a line of people right behind you. Right, Jeff? It's just
no. So we kind of regulated it. We only brought up about 10 people to the door. And then we had 1 to 2 people inside behind the backdrop getting their merchandise ready, whatever they were going to have signed, or if they wanted to buy a poster or a drum head or whatever. And they were behind the backdrop, which was probably 30 feet or more from where Peter was sitting. So your experience with Peter was one-on-one. You didn't have any distractions, and you waited there until Peter was done with the person that he was talking with. When that person exited, then the next person came in. So it was a very, very, it wasn't a cattle call by any means. Yep. It was very personal. A lot of stories shared, the emotions of people. We had a lot of people from outside the country that have never had an opportunity to meet Peter, and Andy and myself, and then, our other Kim, Denise, Lisa. Fans would come out of that room. Some of them just
crying,
crying. Grown men coming up, just sobbing, giving you a hug. Thanks for making one of their lifetime dreams come true. And it was, and like you talk about how we used to do the Living in Sin, all about the fans. And that's what this was. And that's where Andy and I enjoyed doing what we did together, is because, and we didn't make a dime off any of this. I mean, I got to fly from the West Coast. He's got to fly from up north. We do it because we get the enjoyment, seeing the enjoyment on the fans. And that's what's awesome for us. And it was very,
and it took it to a different level this year. It was like a whole different kind of level. I mean,
it was surreal.
Yeah. I mean, you have to go back and look at photos now to see, some of the candid photos that have, leaked.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like Jeff says, you get fans come out trembling, holding your hands, shaking, and then after everybody got, the signatures, then everybody gets back in line to take the photos. And everybody, when we're standing there, thank you, fist pumping, bank, 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 bank. And they've had smiles from here to all the way past their thing like the Joker. You know what I mean? It was just, yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was
But
absolutely
it
crazy.
really is important because, fans do come from all over the world to go on the cruise. I know some people flew in a long way just to come to this event of yours, who weren't going on the cruise.
So there was one gal flew in from Japan.
Exactly. Yeah, we know her name, and that was very special. That to be a surprise like that. So for people to get that opportunity to meet Peter, who otherwise wouldn't, because many of them won't in South America or Europe, or who knows. I mean, they took an opportunity, and, it really was a bonus for everything that was going on. Again, this year, all 4 original members of the band were in Miami, for or prior to the cruise. And that just, they may not be doing anything together. I know Ace didn't get a chance to come over to your event, did he, to see Peter?
No.
But they were all around in the same place at the same time. So to me, that just kind of says it is possible to get those 4 back in the same area. And, for anyone who went to the other thing, had a great time. Those who came to yours, and I know there was a lot of cross-town traffic, wasn't there? People coming over. Ace Frehley Band boys came over and saw Peter.
They were stunned. I was standing there when they came in. They were. I'm telling you, they came over. The group of them, the Ace Frehley / Gene Simmons band, they came over, and I'm standing there, and I'm like, "What's up, guys?" And they're like, "Hey, how's it going, Andy?" And I'm like, and you just throw questions here, and I'm like, "Hey, you guys ever meet Peter before?" And like, I think 3 out of the 4 guys had never met Peter, and they were just like stunned. They were just standing there like they were standing at the door waiting to get in, and they were just like almost like white ghosted, just like frozen.
Like all the other fans.
All the other fans frozen, and then the door going, and they go in the door, and they're like, they were like giddy. They were like they were even giddy about it. It was awesome. And then Maria Contessa showed up, and Maria has seen Peter before, but she came in and she was all giggly and all happy and stuff like that. And Dale Torberg. Yeah, he showed up, and he's friends with Peter also, and he showed up and said hi and everything else. I mean, it's just surreal when you see people that are famous coming to say another famous person, and they're in awe of that person. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking to myself, man, I am just a fan that's low on the totem pole. You know what I mean? Compared to these people, you know what I mean? But I'm thinking, wow, I just helped bring an original member of KISS for people to enjoy. When we talking about this, now I'm getting all like, oh my God, again, here we go again.
Yeah.
It's
it's unbelievable, actually.
And in the mood, how the mood he was, and how nice and gracious Gigi was. I mean, I can't say enough. I'm just totally blown away. And then after we're all done, we get finished. Everything's all finished. Everybody's all happy. Next thing we turn around and say, what did they say, Jeff? Hey.
Yeah. Want to go to dinner?
What?
What?
I think our jaws just hit the floor.
Yep.
Yep. Oh yeah, in a couple hours, meet up with us here. We'll have dinner together. The whole clan, the whole bunch of us that been doing everything for the whole weekend. We met up at a place, and we basically sat down and talked and just giggled and laughed and
told stories, talked about Motown, talked about all kinds of stuff. It was a blast. It was. Peter is very down to earth, personable. He's just a sweetheart of a guy.
Yeah.
And I, for one, am very glad that this opportunity came up and was able to do it. And I'm especially happy to be able to do it with Andy, because this is something that we wanted. We never thought it would happen. And then it happened. And, Andy's on the East Coast. I'm on the West Coast. a lot of phone call conversations, and it just rocked the whole time, man. Was all the crews gelled together. It was like we'd been working together forever.
Yeah.
And it was just a blast. And I even got a little doodle out of it, so I'm real happy.
The doodle. Yeah, and Peter was like so gracious enough to sign the big backdrop for me, and I'm just like, I was in awe. I mean, it just, I don't know, man. I still can't believe it. It just, here's a guy that I worshipped and still do to that point of, man, this guy was on Kiss. Hotter Than Hell, Dress to Kill, my first album, Dress to Kill, when I was age, 6, Kiss Alive, for God's sakes, you know what I mean? The pinnacle, Alive 2. I mean, all this stuff, man. I can't believe it. I'm like, I'm in the same room with this that I never thought happened in my whole life. That's why I say this does not get any bigger than this. I just can't believe this.
Sitting on the couch in the hotel lobby, just shooting the shit.
Yeah, I think I saw that picture. You guys, just the two of you, just kind of lounging with the cat. I mean, I think number one, Peter Criss is a human, but he has inspired. That's what people forget. All these guys in the original band have inspired people to pick up instruments and to become drummers or musicians in their own right. And we really have to respect, every time I've seen him, this guy's a legend, but he's such a sweetheart as well. Has always been awesome every time I've met him. So,
Here's a question. I mean, me personally, I know Jeff didn't either. We didn't really ask questions, because it just didn't work. We wanted to hear him just talk. Or, when he was talking to us, he's talking to us about little stories. But I did ask him when we were sitting there, that photo you saw of us in the lobby before we took them back to fly back home, is I don't know why, because I don't even, everybody knows about the thing about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Most people, you do like it or you don't. One of those two things, because the whole whatever. But, I asked Peter, just when I had, second, I said, hey, Peter, what do you really think about being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? And, what I mean? Because I don't like it, because I, got like Madonna and dance people and supposed to be a rock thing. So anyways, that was kind of my thing. And I asked Peter that question. He said, how do you feel to just be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? And he said that was like the biggest honor he could ever get, because now that he's legacy and legend, and he said that now that he has been on a stage, not only for that he has been on the stage that other great ones before him have been stepped on, and now he's part of that group of performers that have even blown his expectations or bigger than him, like an Elvis, or what I'm saying. So, and then I thought back, he was very gracious about it, and he says, I love it, and I was like, wow, okay, so now I take it from his side, because he's actually the person that's in it. You know what I mean? So he thinks it's just such a the highest honor ever. And I got to respect that. I think that's very cool. His explanation to me. So
that's a fantastic way to look at it, and not one that I'd ever considered. That maybe the artist would feel that I'm now in the company of the Beatles, or maybe some of the other acts that early day inductees into the Hall of Fame. And what does that actually mean to the person who's inducted? We as fans go on and pontificate about this or that from our own perspectives, without ever really considering what the inductee may think. Well, they may not care about Madonna. They may be looking over at the Rolling Stones or Bob Dylan or Roy Orbison, or, just go down through the list of all the greats that are in there. And for each generation, there's another list of greats. So, I mean, that's a really cool thing. Forget all the drama.
Yeah, and he should be in there, and he is one of the greats. He is. Let's put it this way: they were the greatest rock and roll band of the '70s, point blank. There's nobody that that would beat them in that time zone. Point blank is awesome. I love it. I mean, I don't know. I'm still blown away. It's like, people are still asking us now, right, Jeff? Oh, how was it? How was it? And then they ask us off like cameras, or like, or personally, like, oh, Eddie, so how was everybody? How was everything? And I'm telling you, it was fantastic, man. I just can't get enough. I wish we had like a little teeny camera with us, not that we, even think about it, but this little teeny camera to just sit there and listen to him like talk.
I'm glad I'm glad you don't, because those are the special memories that you guys get to take with you. There has to be something special that only you guys can remember because you were there in the moment, whether you were driving Peter around and having a little side conversation, or something mentioned in passing. What the rest of us have got to enjoy are the pictures that are shared. Did Kim finally get a good picture with Peter?
I think she did. We're together. There's a couple more out there. They're floating around or something. It's been such a whirlwind. We're still trying to catch up from the going down there, the honeymoon stuff and all that stuff. We were kind of gone. This is why this episode's a little later than normal. Sorry. But
Yeah.
Really though, even Peter was in a great mood. Everybody was in a great mood. I still though, you gotta hand it to everybody. Again, Jeff, Denise, Kim, Lisa, Bobby, who took the photos again, off the hook. Ray, Mark, Bill, Moochie, Colleen. It was everybody would gel together and had a great time for the 2 days. We all had smiles and this stuff and this and that. And it was
and you got to hand it to the fans too, because
yes,
they were patient. A lot of people, there was people there that had met Peter before, so they know what to kind of get into. That it was going to take a little while. Some of the people that have never met Peter before, they're like, well, what's going on? And it's like, we just explained to him, have you met Peter before? No, we haven't. Well, you've talked to people that have met Peter. Yeah. Well, what do they say? Well, they say he takes his time. And we told everybody, you don't need to wait in line. We're going to take you in numerical order. Go to the bar, get something to eat, have a drink. We'll call you up in groups of 10. But nobody wanted to leave the line. and the few people that were, they weren't upset. They were just wondering.
Yeah.
There wasn't a single person that walked out that exit door that didn't have a grin from ear to ear, and it was the most fabulous thing they'd ever experienced.
Yep.
We're still getting PMs and messages from people thanking us. They appreciate it. Best experience they've ever had. And it wasn't because of us. It was because of Peter.
Yeah.
He takes his time. My wife wanted to share a personal story with him. And so he said, okay. And they went for a walk, and they were gone for a half an hour. And that conversation's between them, but that's just what kind of person Peter is. He makes you feel like you're the rock star, because
he doesn't even want to be called rock star, right, Jeff? Is that what he said?
Exactly. He's a musician.
He's a musician. Doesn't even want to be called rock star, and that's.
Well, he's humble, and he realizes without the fans, his career wouldn't have been possible. So I think that's very, very unique for an artist, because a lot of the artists forget who made them who they are today. And without the fans, a lot of these guys wouldn't be anywhere. So there's to the fans.
Yeah. It's like Jeff says, man, the fans were just so nice, and really everybody was really kosher and cool. They wanted to sit, they sat. If they didn't, they would stay in their line. But all the laminates were numbered, so when you came up and got, when you registered, you got a bag, and inside the bag, the laminates were all numbered. So that was your number to, get in line. So we'd call out, 13 through 20, and then 20 through 30, 30 through 40, this and that. So I think people were just so excited that this was really happening. Just the people. I wish I had I wish I had brought my cell phone. I had it on me, but I didn't really. I wish I just had the cell phone to look at people's faces when they're standing there. Getting in that line to get ready to go in. But just their faces, just like the.
Well, they're stunned.
They're stunned. Is this really going to happen?
Some people were very, very nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one lady had to be helped in by somebody else because she was so nervous and scared. She was trembling so much. Huh?
That would have been me.
What, trembling or the nervous?
No,
I know.
I coached her through it and got her up there, and everything worked out great. And
Yeah. And,
but that's what we do. It's all about, we're just ecstatic that it actually came together, and still, I look at this little thing behind me before I get it framed, and it's like, wow, I can't believe that, because I sat there and watched him draw it for me.
welcome.
And there's a video out there of it. So that's how I know it's real.
Yeah.
It just, I know people are gonna like listen to this and see, if they're just listening and not seeing us, but there was no drama. There was absolutely no downside at all. There's nothing to even like anything. Zero.
You know what? I wouldn't be talking to you guys if there was drama and negativity. But going by the track record of the events that I've done recaps for with Peter, obviously LA in 2017, which I attended and was absolutely fantastic. What happened there? The Cat Club, not the Cat Club, the Cutting Room in New York City. Later that year as well, and people still talk about that event. And I'm pretty sure people are going to talk about this event with Peter for quite a long time to come, because, again, when you have these moments in your personal journey that are so wonderful, that exceed expectations, or are just mind-blowing, then they stay with you for a very long time. And that's what these events are about, giving people the opportunity to have those memories with someone who's special to them for whatever reason, whether it's a song, whether it's an album, some part of their soundtrack to their life, and you guys facilitated it. And Peter Criss, made it magical for them.
Yeah, and I'm still. I know Jeff and I are still getting PMs. They're like, "Oh my God, thank you!" Not just thank yous and this and that. And they're like, "Can you do this again next year?" We're getting PMs, basically people begging us to do this next year. Can you get him down again next year?
Down to Brazil? Can we get him?
Yeah, Mexico.
It's crazy.
Yeah, can you get him down to Mexico? And it's just like,
We're just fans. We just got lucky.
No, Andy's retired now, so that's the end. He is done. He is out. No mas, no more.
Yeah, Jeff doesn't believe me. He's like, yeah, we'll see.
No.
Well, Saturday you said you were done, and look what happened Sunday.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, step away from it. There comes a time where all of us who do stuff have to say, that's the end of my journey. Be done with it. Wash your hands and say, mission accomplished. I'm happy.
Mission accomplished. My mission accomplished was done after the second living in sin thing Jeff did. The accomplishment was to get people to hang around at a bar and listen to Kiss tunes and just, how you doing? I'm from here.
And then look where it went, and look how it ends. Yeah, look at the bookend that you've got with a founding member of the band and a really, really nice guy. So with great stories. Now you know firsthand, and I want you to keep a lot of that stuff to yourself, because that's important for you. You guys earn the memories, and I think we should just wrap it at that point, because it's just I'm sorry for everyone who's, had a positivity overdose. It does happen in Kiss world. There are just things that are just purely positive and good and exciting and wonderful, and this was one of them. So, congratulations to you both for making it happen, because you guys are the ground troops. Thank you to your helpers for being there to support you guys, and of course, thank you to the talent for being there and making it special for everyone. I think that's, what it's all about.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. And what I want to say is, if I would have never met that kid right there looking at me in 2011 on the Kiss cruise, none of this crap would have happened. And so, you know what, man? I appreciate it, man. I really do. So thank you.
Yeah. And I got to say this too, if it wasn't for the fans first, it's not for the fans or the people that go on the cruise and stuff that trusted us, all of us who did this stuff. If you guys didn't trust us, I'm glad you guys everybody trusted us and put their faith in us, that what we said through the years was going to happen, happened. I mean, to the point where, we tried, so hard that we, basically tortured ourselves at times to make everybody else happy. But, again, if it wasn't for those people, the fans or the people that trusted us, this doesn't happen. I mean, yeah, we might set the
Sure.
ground level, get the hotel room and all that, get the hotel room set up, get the stuff done. But if people don't show up and people don't trust us and all this stuff and they don't come, it doesn't happen. So, and the charity stuff, right, Jeff? Through all these years, the charity, I get, you know,
we raised $32,000 in 4 events.
Yeah, 4 events, and it's been more than that now because of other stuff that's going on. You know,
The first 4 you and I did.
Yeah. So I mean,
$30,000.
yeah. So, and you know, again, if it's not for the fans, it's all that. But
Exactly.
and saying that, if it, you know, like Jeff said, if I didn't meet that knucklehead over here on the West Coast at a beach on the first Kiss cruise at the cabana floating around in the ocean, when the guy invited me, he's kind of weird, right? I haven't met this guy. Hey, you want to come over to my cabana? Don't you think that's a little weird? But I went over, and then we started hanging out.
Not half as weird as the message you sent me after you got back from the cruise, but we won't get into that.
Yeah.
I live in San Francisco, so there's nothing weird.
Yeah.
There you go.
You know, people are gonna see this and go, "What the hell?" But anyways, you know, it's been a pleasure. It's been an awesome ride. You know, wicked awesome ride, and I've met a lot of great people, a lot of great friends, and I've made a lot of friends too from all this and stuff like that. And that's what I got to look back on. And you know, again, I'm totally blown away. It's just, yeah, like you said, everything's in the memory bank. I have all the stuff, and that's my legacy. You know. But again, though, man, if it wasn't for this guy in the screen over here with that little doodling drawing, you're welcome again. You know, none of this stuff happens because it's Jeff's fault. Because
Here we go.
Yeah, because in the beginning when this all started, this is Jeff's fault because when he says, hey, yeah, you want, let's get the little get together and do a, you know, living in sin thing. I'm like, yeah, let's just have a little thing. And he goes, yeah, let's do something for charity. And I'm like, hey, you going to be all in? He goes, yeah. I'm like, well, do you know who I am? He's not really, but well, and he found out now 9 years, almost 10 years later, how all in we go here. So, but you know, I don't really care what anybody says, dude. Everybody else cares. Say, man, I love you, bro, man. If it wasn't for you, none of this happens because, you know, I wouldn't have done this. I wouldn't have done, especially this one with Peter. I wouldn't have done it without anybody else, you know, without Jeff. If Jeff doesn't do this, I'm not in. So without Jeff and Denise, man, you know, I'm going to give the back. Hey, Denise.
And Kim. Don't forget Kim.
Oh, yeah. I'm not forgetting Kim.
Those girls have put up with a lot.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Let's leave it there because, you know, right now from Jeff, from Andy, myself, thanks for joining us. And if you want good stuff to happen, you out there watching this or listening to this, you can make it happen. Yeah. Whether it's books, whether it's documentaries, whether it's music, it's you guys are more than capable of making stuff happen too, you know. So just because Andy has retired doesn't mean that fun stuff can't happen. If you're willing to make things happen with a good attitude, anything's possible. God, I sound like Paul Stanley.
New York 2021, living in sin, New York City, right, Jeff?
Yeah, be there or be square.
It's coming. It's coming, baby.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you from the KissFAQ podcast. We'll see you next time. Thank you for spending time listening to the KissFAQ podcast today. All sales are final. There are no refunds. If you'd like, look us up on Facebook or come over to the KissFAQ message board and discuss the topic we've broadcast today. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes, Spreaker, or wherever you've listened to the show. We hope you'll join us again.